Welcome back, you lovely people. If you watched the video yesterday and you're starting to realize, or you've already realized just how on the ball we are and how clearly we are seeing the market, then please smash the like button. Today, we will build on what we talked about yesterday. And if you feel that sometimes that we repeat ourselves when we're going through this analysis, just know that we're doing that on purpose. What we have in front of us is the opportunity of a lifetime. With the confluence of money printing with the 4-year Bitcoin cycle, we may never see this type of opportunity again. So what we're doing is trying to provide that awareness and trying to position ourselves in order to benefit to the absolute maximum. And I'm sure you will agree, if you've been following this channel, if you've been following my social media, that we have been about as right as anybody over the past 6 months when talking about this market. And how have we managed to be so right? A few reasons. Number one, if you want to go check out my coach, my community, Conquer Trading and Investing, head over, link in the description, check out the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. So we have amazing mentors, alongside the fact that I'm spending thousands of hours of study to layer on top my own perspective, and that's what you're seeing and hearing, and me explaining this to you, me teaching this to you, and fielding your questions and also your contributions is really helping us to position ourselves. Like I said, we've been as accurate as absolutely anybody I've seen out there, and let's continue to do that. And I get questions like yesterday and the day before of people saying, why is this happening? Why is the dip happening? Sending me links to various articles and YouTube channels of people saying, oh, it's this mining company that's dumping these coins, or China, or Tether regulation, etc., etc. I advise you not to get bogged down in that, not to get distracted by all of that noise, because we know we've been planning this for 6 months. We know that these dips are going to happen. We know there's going to be multiple 30% plus dips. We know that in between them, especially as we move through this year, there are going to be 10, 15, 20% dips out of nowhere. We can't predict it. We shouldn't try and predict it, otherwise we'll overtrade. And to what level should we try and understand it? I would encourage you to think deeply about that, because, and I'm saying that because I'm hearing from many people that are trying to understand all of the theories and conspiracy theories, and they're missing out on what's important. And what's important is the plan that we've set out in the playbook, which is in the description. And what's important is that we follow price and price action in line with that plan. That's exactly what we've been doing. That is exactly how we navigated our first 30% pullback with complete calmness. And it's how we navigated this 2-day sell-off with that clarity that we were talking about yesterday. And let's see where we are. So yesterday, we were talking about our base case scenario is that this is not a 30% plus dip. This is one of our short, sharp corrections to shake out the weak hands. Was it due to a big whale dumping? Was that mining company? I really don't care. It's completely irrelevant to me. What I care about is that we were positioned fully a long time ago for a start. The other thing that I cared about is that we expected this. So we weren't nervous. We didn't get scared. We didn't hover over the sell button. We certainly didn't press the sell button because we knew this was going to happen. And last night, I talked about the fact that we were down, what was it, 22% or so. And that I expected that to be our bottom. and for us to recover out of there, and then we're looking at $77,000 as our next target. Is this confirmed yet? No, it's not confirmed. It's not. It's going to be very interesting to see if we can reclaim our trend line. At the moment, it's 50-50. Have we broken back above it? We're retesting and resuming upwards? Maybe. Are we testing it and now we're going to come back into $39,000-$40,000? That was our scenario B? Maybe. But either way, we're ready for it and we're prepared, and we're just going to watch what happens. The reason why I'm more on the side of the fact that this is our bottom is the timing. I'm on the 12-hour view. So this dip has lasted 12, 24, 36 hours, maybe between 36 and 48 hours. And now we're starting to recover. We are 10% off the low. And we were looking back at 2017 and relatively where we think we are in the cycle, which is here. And how long did this dip last? 12, 24, 36, 48, between 36 and 48 hours. The similarities continue to present themselves in front of our face. What happens next if we're on this scenario? Bounce, another small pullback. You know what will be happening here if we start to pull back again tomorrow. People will start panicking. They'll say the top is in. There'll be more people who lose their Bitcoin to the whales, to the institutions. And then off of that final drop, then that's when we head up to our $77,000 level before the next 30% dip. Let's see how that might play out, if that is the scenario that we're following. At the moment, it looks like that is our most likely scenario. One final pullback, and then away we go. Let's see what happens. But if we do head down to that 30% level, it doesn't matter, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Why is it fine? Why are we so confident? I've been talking about Bitcoin being cheap, under $50,000. Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy come along and they purchase 19,500 Bitcoins for $1 billion at an average price of around $53,000. Michael Saylor, his CEO friends, big funds, they're all buying, they're all coming. It's just getting started. I've been saying to everyone that's following me that under 50,000 is cheap. Why have I been saying that? Is because I knew what was about to happen next. I've been saying it since last April. So I've been saying it to try and get you positioned. But just know, if you're not fully positioned, or if you are investing on a regular basis, which is a fine strategy, then you are in esteemed company, because there are going to be many massive institutions and high net worth individuals that are buying all around here. 53,000, they'll be buying at 60, 70, 80, 90, 100,000. This is the halving tracker that we've been following. You know, the huge dip that we had over the last few days? That is this tiny little pullback on the blue line. That is what we have just experienced. You can see, looking back at both of the past cycles, the green and the purple, just look at how many of those types of dips that we're going to see up to the peak. But what's important, what we really care about, is what happens next. Whether it's the most recent cycle in green, what happens from here? Well, if we fell back in line, then we'd be looking at, what is that, $250,000, $260,000. If we catch up to the purple, then that's looking at $800,000 Bitcoin. If we remain somewhere in the middle at the moment, right, if it was the average of the two, that's $300,000. And what does it look like at the moment? Well, we know our target is $296,000, which is quite nicely the average of the previous two cycles. But there are many, many indicators that we are breaking the model to the upside. What does it look like at the moment? Would it be surprising if our blue line ended up somewhere in here, 350, 400, 450, from where we're at right now? That would not be a surprising outcome at all, because what happens next? The green line, the purple line, this is the parabolic stage. If you thought that 5,000 to 50,000 was exciting, and it certainly was, but it happened over the course of more than a year. What happens when we go from 50,000 to 300,000 over the course of a couple of months? Because that is exactly what we are about to see. And of course, Finance 1.0 are terrified. They also don't understand a combination. This is the Bank of Canada. Bitcoin doesn't have features of a currency. Zero hedge, for example, you can't create 1 trillion of it out of thin air with the flick of a switch. This is the reason why Bitcoin is going to enter its parabolic stage, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, because that is absolutely nothing compared to the trillions and trillions of pounds, euros, and dollars that are being created that all need to find their way somewhere. And of course, right now, the trade, the investment is all about Bitcoin. Finally, just to note, altcoins are leading the recovery. You got Ethereum at 5%, Chainlink 12%, Polkadot's lagging, Compound 15%, Graph 14%, Binance 11%. Some of the smaller altcoins, Rarible 27%, Cardano 10%. I just want to note that as being very interesting. I've talked about us being in alt season, entering peak alt season just before this sell-off. Alts were exploding. You know what another feature of alt season is, and that is increased volatility, a lot of them having massive sell-offs and a lot of them beginning their massive recoveries. We are still very, very much in alt season, and as we make our way back to the high in Bitcoin, then we're fully expecting alts to lead the charge and to show some incredible returns, especially if you've managed to pick out the good ones with proper utility and great management teams and visions. Thank you so much for listening. I know my videos are being shared as well. I really, really appreciate that. Please keep it up. We're trying to get as many, let's call us normal people, not the top 1%, armed with the knowledge and expertise in order to make sure that we protect ourselves and we don't get left behind. And all of you watching and sharing is a massive part of that. So I'm really, really grateful. And we will catch up tomorrow.